Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dawg.
Mike, it's good to see you. I'm going to start the show with a shout out to Delta Airlines for keeping me watching NFL for 5 hours yesterday. I had a long flight across the country. Delta uninterrupted, free live TV, free internet. I'm checking scores, Twitter, fantasy, the whole thing. Shout out to Delta. The in-flight experience is so good.
It is really good. I did go on in American Airlines, and it was pretty nice, but not as nice as Delta. Delta really
I can't with American.
I am flying Delta this week. I'm going to Hawaii on Delta,
good move.
Hopefully it's comfortable because it's a
I
longer
don't know if
flight.
you get free Wi-Fi over the Pacific. I can't promise that, but domestically over the U.S., we were cooking yesterday. And the weirdest thing I saw on my Delta Airlines flight was Joe Flacco playing quarterback again in the NFL. What year is this?
Yeah, I faded him, and I was really scared when I saw how good he was doing. Is it just that he has the knowledge and he's been there so much, the skill level doesn't really matter at some points. Like anybody was better than what they were doing. It's really, I don't understand what's happening. Now they're like, even New York Jets are like, yeah, let's bring Zach Wilson back in because like these two schmucks we had here were really terrible. At least Zach could like move around a little bit. I don't know what's going on. Really bad quarterback.
The Jets could have had Joe Flacco. I feel like he was on their practice squad at some point, or their backup recently. They could have had Mike White. They could have had all these guys, and yet the Zach Wilson thing keeps going. They lost a bad game yesterday. Zach Wilson apparently is being asked to come back in this week, as you mentioned. But apparently when he was first asked to come back this week, he said, nah, I'm good. Did you see that?
Which I kind of like as a power move, kind of like, no. I'm going to reevaluate. I'm going to see what's happening. Can he get out of his contract? Can he go somewhere else? Because I think another team would take him. Like I feel like the Patriots would jump on him, or a team that could use somebody. They might use him. But I like the move. Like no.
Wait, who's gonna jump on? Wait, who's gonna jump on him? Who's gonna acquire him? Who's gonna pay him any money?
Take him as a backup. Like he's a little frisky. I feel like it's just all about the Jets, like how terribly they are. And I don't think the reason why they're gonna put him back in is they don't either want him here next year. So it's like let's use him and abuse him and see what happens. Or they just know like, hey, let's at least get some sort of like quarterback that can do something better than these two, like Trevor Siemian and all these other guys. Yeah. Because Aaron Rodgers is supposedly going to come back, but only if they're going to make a playoff run. So they already knew Zach Wilson was the better one. This is it's like a love triangle, and it's not good.
We know all about these love triangles recently, Mike. When it comes to Zach Wilson and the Jets, it's like Rodgers is back at practicing. He might actually be able to come back and play, but he's not going to play if they keep losing games because you're going to be eliminated from playoff contention in December when he's going to play these games. So I think the Jets are desperate to win to get Rodgers back out there. And the NFL scriptwriters right now are like, no, it's not happening. We're not going to let the Jets win. That was a very winnable game against the Falcons, and the Jets chose not to win.
It's a weird time of the year because this is now you're tanking for one of the top quarterbacks. You're waiting for them.
Belichick heavily tanking, yes.
Which also I need to ask you, and we'll talk about it in a second. I want to talk about college football. I obviously know nothing about
Scandal City for sure.
But I just think it's a weird time because even like you see Bill Belichick, you see them play like New England play, and they held the Chargers to 6 points, and it's like wow, their defense is really good, but literally they cannot make an offensive play. And it just blows my mind that these teams can't do anything. And I don't know. It's like, I don't want to watch this Thursday's game, right? Isn't it Patriots Steelers? Like you don't pay me to watch it.
Zappy, are these real quarterbacks or is this a CFL or USFL matchup? What is that?
Yeah, I don't want to watch it. I don't know what's going on.
You mentioned the Patriots. The Patriots not hold Justin Herbert and the Chargers to 6 points. The weather, Mother Nature held the Chargers to 6 points. That was a nasty game, fog, rain, wind. And the Patriots scored 0 points because they tried to score 0 points. I think Belichick's been doing this 2 weeks in a row. I told you last week he was tanking against the Giants. He told his kicker, miss it. And he did late in the game to force OT. And now by starting Bailey Zappi, that is not a real person, right? Like this person does not exist in real life. And he like just grabbed him off the street and said, be my quarterback so we can lose games on purpose.
Yeah, basically. Do you think Belichick knows which quarterback he wants out there? And it's like, oh, we need to be at this position to get it. So it's like, we need to lose a few more games to get there.
You know who Belichick wants? It's Bryce Young when he coaches the Carolina Panthers next year. How about
you think he's going to coach the Carolina Panthers? You think that's going to happen?
Well, that was a new report in this past week. We previously heard the Commanders and the Chargers, and those are cool. Those would be fun. But it's the Panthers with their hedge fund owner, one of the richest men in the world, who now has the worst asset in the NFL, which we talked about on last week's show. Go download it right below this one if you missed it. We talked about how the Panthers have the worst asset because their owner came in, cleaned house, fired everyone, traded everyone for Bryce Young, and now they're terrible. They don't have their own pick. And he doesn't have a head coach for next year. And so I think he's a really a guy with a lot of money, a lot of resources. He's not going to be patient. I think he's going to try to get Bill in there and in Carolina.
It's interesting because now we see it happening in Denver. It's like they traded picks. They got Sean Payton, all this stuff. I don't know if a lot of teams are willing to give up as much for a head coach, and especially Belichick, who's been around for a long time. Maybe might not have it all. We seen it with Ron Rivera just kind of lose it. In Riverboat Ron is no longer
he lost
on
his
the
nickname.
boat.
You really lost it when you're not the Riverboat anymore.
I think this is the only owner that would do it, but also I don't think Belichick leaves. I think he stays a Patriot forever.
No, Robert Kraft is an old man. He is desperate for another championship. He is desperate to get back to the top of the mountain before he dies, and Belichick isn't taking him there. The guy is a terrible GM. Terrible.
But that's the problem. Belichick runs all the operations. That means you have to go hire a few new people to replace him. And that means that's going to be years of growth pains and figuring it all out. And the organization is just going to change. And I don't think that happens. They stay there. They fire some other people. They get a number one quarterback and they're all set. Their defense is obviously good. They're not bad.
But the offense is the worst in the league. One of the worst. There's a lot of bad ones out there. Granted, they have no playmakers. And the reason for that is Belichick keeps getting playmakers in there that he thinks are going to be effective, and they never are. So it's on him as a GM, and he's not going to take a demotion. He's not going to go to Robert Kraft after 30 years and say, hey, I've lost it in the GM world. Just let me be the head coach. He's not going to do that at the end of his career. That's kind of sad. So what he's going to do is go somewhere else, retain the GM and head coach privileges, and maybe screw up another franchise. Unless Brady comes out of retirement and joins him. Maybe that'll happen.
That'd be great. Because Brady's really enjoying his retirement. He's on boats, yachts everywhere.
If the scriptwriters are cooking, they're going to match up Belichick and Brady in LA next year. That's what'll really work.
Real quick before we get to some other stuff, I wanted to mention last week when we were on the show, I told you about the Eagles luck ranking. And then I talked to Sam the other day. We did our gambling show, and my rankings were correct. They were the number one luckiest team. And you saw it this weekend when they played the 49ers. I also have a future bet on Brock Purdy to win MVP, which I placed 2 weeks ago, who is now in the lead for MVP this season.
You got good odds 2 weeks ago, right?
I got good odds 2 weeks ago, and it's all coming true for me. We're seeing Philly. They're just lucky. And I loved it. Yesterday it made me feel like finally something's going right in gambling. And this is the one thing that I could point out and see ahead of time. I was right on. And I just wanted a pat on the back, Jeremy. That's all I want.
Listen, I won't give it to you, Mike. I won't. Because 10-2 teams are not lucky. They're actually really good. It's really hard to win 10 out of 12 games in the NFL. It's really hard to beat Patrick Mahomes on the road on Monday Night Football.
Is it?
And that's at home. Jordan Love did it at home.
Jordan Love did it.
We'll talk about that one too. I think the Eagles, it wasn't a luck thing. I know they've been lucky in the past. I think they're a clutch team. They played a great first quarter.
Jeremy.
Brock Purdy looked lost in space in the first quarter of that game and bounced back by getting the ball to his playmakers. It's all about Debo. It's all about McCaffrey. It's all about Kittle. That's what it's about in those games.
Philly has playmakers too, but the luck rankings are out there. The luckiest team this season. And I'm just going to say, if it goes to 49ers and Eagles, play it out for the NFC, 49ers are going to win it. And like last year when Brock Purdy broke his elbow, they didn't continue on because they couldn't. And I just think this year you're seeing it, the best rise to the top. And I think the 49ers are the one. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. If you want to make Super Bowl bets, they're going to the Super Bowl.
Well, we'll see what quarterback they have. Last year, they lost 4 quarterbacks between December 4th and the Super Bowl. So we'll see if that happens again. Stephen A. Smith this morning, I was doing a little first take viewing here, and he said he delegitimized the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year after yesterday's game because it shows how much better the Niners are. I completely disagree. The Eagles have played so many games in a short amount of time, really important games. It was the Monday against the Chiefs. They came home against the Bills. That game went to overtime, and now they had to face the Niners on a short week. I think it's really unfair to say this is who the Eagles are. I think they were caught in a scheduling mismatch, and I think we'll see the better version of the Eagles, Mike, this week at Dallas, Sunday Night Football. There's no way you're taking the Cowboys in that game.
I'm not. I'm already marked it on my calendar. I'm taking Philly this week, but
okay. Is that going to be another lucky win?
Hold on. So you want the rankings here? It's 49ers, Philly, and then Dallas is way down there. Dallas does not even deserve to be at the top. I don't think they're good. They only beat up on bad teams. Philly has more wins, so they're over 500 team. So my theory is they get destroyed by the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. There's no way Dallas wins this game. There's zero chance. Zero
chance. The Cowboys offense is humming. They're a 3-point favorite against the Eagles, which would have been so far-fetched even just a couple weeks ago.
No.
I think that Cowboys are playing good ball. I know Seattle scored some points on them last Thursday night. Cowboys won the game. That's what good teams do. You struggle, you still win the game. That's what the Eagles did consecutively prior to this Niners game. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game Sunday. I don't think the Eagles are in trouble at all. I think they're right there in the NFC Championship game with the Niners, and I'm probably taking the Eagles to win just like I did last year.
Do you see any flaws in how Dallas plays? Like when I watched them play Seattle, I was like, man, even Geno Smith can move the ball pretty well on them and like throw it downfield. And does it not worry you a little bit when you see that? Now, then you watch Geno play the 49ers, and it's like, can't really move it as much, not playing as well, a lot of mistakes. I think he hurt his elbow in that game, but it just, I don't know. The eye test doesn't pass for me for Dallas, and Dak is a choker. And if they choke in the playoffs, you better believe what's his name is getting fired as a head coach.
McCarthy? Maybe he should be fired anyway. He's no good. I still want Deion Sanders in Dallas. That's a different story. More on Deion coming up on today's show. The Cowboys are rolling. I think they're going to be fine. I think the Eagles will be fine. I think you're being very hard on them. Listen, it's a week-to-week league. The Seahawks struggle so much against the Niners, and then Geno comes out against Dallas and is getting the ball out quicker than ever. It was 2.6 seconds per drop back. That's like Tua level drop back, throw the ball
to Amazon Prime.
Beat the pass rush. Yeah, thanks to the Next Gen Stats. Shout out to you guys. Taught Geno something apparently. It's a week-to-week league, and we get hot takes. That's our job on the show. That's what we get paid to do, Mike. But we just got to take a step back sometimes and say the Seahawks might be good. They might be a playoff team. Dallas is a great playoff team. Philly is going to be there in the end. Let's just see how it continues to play out.
Real quick. So before we jump into bullshit or believe, I want to mention we got a new sponsor. This is a sponsor. We never do ad breaks on the show.
Wow.
And this is one of the first ones.
So excited.
It's Magic Mind. So I don't know if you've heard of Magic Mind, but I like productivity drinks. I like drinking stuff that, you feel good. You get in that like flow state mode, when everybody's talking about the flow state. You take this. And it's not like coffee. It's more of like I don't know how to describe it. It's a very like subtle boost of energy, but without getting jittery at all. And I really like it. You're going to try it next week. You're going to report back. Yeah. But I really love it. And if anybody wants to get it, you can go to Magic Mind, type in the Sports Hangover. You get, I think it's 56% off your first subscription or 20% off on your first order. So get it. It's a great drink. It's great product. And you can like mix it in like little drinks if you want. Make like a little iced matcha latte in the morning. Put a little milk over this and some ice. It's really good. And it tastes really good too. And it's really easy, simple. You can take it like this. Boom. You're done. I love it.
We all need more focus. I love it. I know. You were telling me before you stepped into the lab to go over your gambling picks this week, you drank a little Magic Mind before the prep call, before you stepped in the lab. And it really helped you hit some games this week. So that could be another side effect.
I will say this, my dad also drinks it, and he is amazed by how it makes him. He's like, it's a different type of energy you can't even describe. And it's a great energy. It's not, because I get jittery. I have that anxiety. I know. Like with coffee, this doesn't do it. So I really like it. So use the Sports Hangover.
Thanks for the dad report. That's awesome.
Yeah, my dad loves it. He really does love it. So use the Sports Hangover, get 20% off your first purchase, and then 56% off your first subscription. All right, let's do... Where is bullshit or believe? Let's do bullshit or believe. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe. All right. So I have two bullshits or believe, and I think they're pretty timely right now. But we saw a report over the weekend that Goodell wants to remove the Tush Push, and then we saw the possible first overall pick, Caleb Williams, comment, and he said that was soft. Do we believe that the NFL is actually going to make a move to remove this thing? Because we saw it doesn't always work. You're on 4th and 2, 3rd and 2. Sometimes it can't get to that 1 yard, can't get 2 yards, maybe 1 yard. But I hopefully, bullshit or believe, are they going to remove it?
I'm going to say bullshit because the competition committee is actually going to review the data on this, and they're going to see what we're seeing all season by watching Red Zone because we watch all the games. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't work for any team except Jalen Hurts, really. The 100% hit rate is for the Eagles. No other quarterback has a very high success rate. Of course, QB sneaks exist. Of course, on 4th and inches, they make so much sense. They're somewhat automatic. But the 4th and 2, the tush push, I think the Eagles are the only one. It's because Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds. No other quarterback can do that. Even like a Patrick Mahomes, Mike, he never does a QB sneak because he doesn't want to get hurt. Andy Reid doesn't want to get hurt. So it's not something that works for every team by any means.
Did you see the punter or something? I don't know if it was actually real because you never saw his face, but there's like a LA Rams punter video that he could squat 585 pounds or something.
No.
The punter.
That's less than Jalen Hurts.
It is less than, but this man's a punter. This man literally doesn't do much.
But he should have strong legs, right? Like if anyone should, it's that guy.
I don't know if squatting actually helps you kick the ball and he just punts. He doesn't kick field goals. He punts the ball. So
I always wonder, like when you're a punter and you also have to have a kicker on the roster and you're like not even capable of being the backup kicker, like what's wrong with you? Like your one job is to kick. It's just a different form of it. Why can't you do both? You never learn throughout your life.
I'm always confused by that. It's like a punter and a kicker. You should be able to do all of the above.
Yeah.
All right. So hopefully that's bullshit because I don't want them to remove it. This is another one. This is a little more like dicey. I've been seeing rumors about this on like Reddit and TikTok. ESPN Bet launched about, I don't know, a month or two ago, something like that. They launched, they merged with Penn Betting, and now they're in one. Now there's like an ESPN Bet app. Now, unfortunately, here in California, we can't use it. But supposedly there are rumors out there that people aren't getting paid. They're canceling bets. They're voiding bets because you pushed on something. And when you push, it doesn't void the bet. Just, maybe odds will change or something. And these are some of the headlines from Reddit. ESPN Bet banned my sister and won't pay her out the money. Has anybody gone through this? ESPN Bet won't let me withdraw my money. Now, I've been gambling, let's say, for the last 10 years. I've never once withdrawn my money from my account. Now I play on an offshore account that takes my money in crypto and stuff like that.
Let's pause there. It might be an indication that your account is not steadily rising over the last 10 years.
Yeah. I wouldn't say gambling for me is where I withdraw money to pay for things in the real world. Yeah, it's a hobby. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, here we are. ESPN Bet launched recently. What happens? Like, bullshit or believe, does ESPN Bet survive? Because this does not look good and not trustworthy. Because I feel like FanDuel easily will let people just like take the money, be happy, go away, and ESPN Bet's locking them down.
And it's FanDuel and DraftKings who are the ones who are always giving refunds if something like someone gets hurt randomly or something weird happens in a game. They're the ones always giving refunds for it. I haven't heard this controversy, the scandalous controversy on ESPN Bet. They're a really big organization to be doing shady stuff like this. So part of me would be a little bit surprised if it's accurate. I've read a lot of stories on Reddit about someone's sister. I'm like, is that a real story? And so we'll see if that's a real thing. Right. It's like, my sister did this. It's like, okay, everyone has a sister who did this. I don't know if it's a real story. I doubt ESPN Bet would put themselves in position to face this controversy. Maybe there's some little issues in the launch of it.
I think they're
going to be okay. Do I think they're going to get market share to come even close to FanDuel and DraftKings? Those are two super established apps and processes. I would not think that ESPN Bet ever catches them.
It seems pretty big. I mean, there seems like I was getting fed a lot on TikTok, and TikTok's algorithm can be a little dicey sometimes, but I was getting fed a lot of those ESPN Bet, like ESPN Bet won't do this and I can't pull my money and blah, blah, blah. So I looked on Reddit, a few people complained. Most people were like, oh, it's because you're 21 and sometimes they don't know and verify your age. There's like a lot of excuse. So we'll see what happens. But if you have ESPN Bet, let us know, comment. I'm curious to hear how the app is. We can't use it. Sucks. I wish we could. You got
in
any
Florida?
bullshit?
I was trying to use the Hard Rock Bet.
Did you use it?
I tried to. I had to authenticate my residency, and I don't live there, so that was an issue for me.
Yeah, that's
let's get to Scandal City.
All right, there it is. Well,
the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
We're going to college football, Mike. We don't go there often, but Scandal City hit NCAA this week. It is a very scandalous organization, by the way. But Florida State, 13-0, big boy conference. They beat some ranked teams this year. They beat an SEC team like LSU. They beat Louisville in the ACC championship. Undefeated in a Power 5 conference, has always made the playoff or BCS championship in the history of college football until yesterday, when 13-0 Florida State was left out of the playoffs. Their quarterback suffered a devastating injury 2 weeks ago, broke his leg. Their backup actually got concussed, so they were on their third-string quarterback. So it's really bad. It's like San Francisco 49ers stuff, NFC Championship vibes with the Niners for sure. But they're kept out of the playoff for some one-loss teams, 2 one-loss teams. Texas and Alabama got in. Alabama the week before just won on a Hail Mary against a bad team. So it's very scandalous. Florida State, the head coach put out a statement saying this is ridiculous. Of course, you could predict this, but the leaders of the political world, Donald Trump and Rick Scott from Florida, they put out statements saying this is ridiculous on Florida State. I think they're drawing attention to Florida as a battleground state. But anyway, what do you make of this undefeated Florida State? They lost their quarterback. He's not coming back for the playoffs, but do you think they should have been in?
Listen, I don't watch college football. I don't know enough about college football. I saw rumblings of how people were upset and they're like, they better get in, or this is organization should be disassembled or something. I don't even know what the college football like association or whoever makes all these rankings. But what I found weird is that I saw the videos of the teams getting like announced, like, oh, you're in the playoffs. And you could see Alabama. They were almost just like, duh, we're in, like not even that happy. Like you saw what's his name, Saban put down his cup and like, okay, yeah, we're in. Good job. Like we knew we were going to be here. Yeah. And like FSU, they were like all sitting on the edge of their seat waiting for this to happen. I don't know what the deal is, and I don't even know if it really matters. But next year, aren't they expanding it to 12? So it's like, what is this dumb rule? Why wasn't it always 12? And once you described that to me, once you said like, oh, they're on their third quarterback, I'm like, oh, well, that's why they're not in. That made a lot more sense. What I saw online was just people pissed. They're undefeated. Why aren't they in? Blah, 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 blah.
That's exactly why they're not in, because of the quarterback situation. If their quarterback never got hurt, no doubt they're in. Even though the ACC conference is the worst of the Power 5, they would still be in, because when you go undefeated, we fought for this at UCF. You went to UCF, Mike. You know, we won a national championship years ago because we went undefeated. And we went undefeated and we told everyone we're national champs. And we just were at that point, even though the NCAA didn't say we were. We were in a smaller conference than Florida State was at the time. And we thought we should have been invited to the playoff at that time. And now Florida State is in a bigger conference, 13-0, and not invited. You're right. It's going to 12 teams next year. The situation will not present itself again. Maybe that's perfect timing for the NCAA.
I have questions, because like, why is college football not like the NFL? Why is there not a NFC, AFC, then Northeast, Southwest divisions? Why can't everybody? Now I understand there is though.
Oh, there is. NFL has AFC and NFC. There's conferences in college football. There's the Big 12, the Pac-12, which is going away, as you know. There's the SEC. That's where Alabama is. And the ACC, Florida State. It's like the worst conference. If you can imagine a conference of the Denver Broncos times 12, that is the ACC. Very mediocre teams are in the ACC. Florida State just happens to be the best among them.
So I don't know. It seems like people were really pissed over it. We'll see what happens. Now, is everybody against Alabama that they got in and FSU didn't? Because didn't Alabama have one less win? Like they lost one
less win, but they had like 4 more impressive wins too. They beat Georgia, the number 1 team, to get in this situation over the weekend. And so no one says Alabama doesn't deserve it. It's just someone had to be left out. It just happened to be the undefeated team that lost their star quarterback. It sucks, right? It sucks for the kids who to a major football program went undefeated, and it's like, sorry, you lost your QB. But the reality of it is they were not a top 4 team without the QB. Very scandalous, though.
College football doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the inconsistency of the play and the confusion. It's just too much. I stick to NFL.
That's why you don't watch. Can we do a quick J-Dog takes on?
Yeah, let's do it. Hold on. There you are.
J-Dog takes on.
Mike, this week we actually criticized Sports Illustrated on last week's show for doing AI writers and AI headshots. We talked about all that. Sports Illustrated back on my list for J-Dog takes on 2 weeks in a row. Might become a recurring take on Sports Illustrated.
Good for them. Did they like listen to our audio and like generate some AI content against our audio from last week?
Well, you would think based on this headline I'm about to share with you that they did, but I'm afraid humans may have been involved. They announced the Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year award, and this used to be a really big deal. Did you see who was named the SI Sports Person of the Year?
Is it even a magazine anymore? Like, I have no idea. No, I have not seen it. I know nothing about it. I don't even know. It's not on my radar at all.
It is a magazine, and they named Deion Sanders as the sports person of the year.
Okay.
And I hate it. I hate it because he went 4-8, the same exact record that Colorado was before he took over as head coach. He won one Pac-12 game in the last season of the Pac-12 when many teams were phoning it in. If this was an award, Mike, for sports person of September, Deion Sanders should win the award. If it's sports person of 2023, because January to August and October to December, Deion wasn't in the national discussion. We had some weeks in September. We talked about Deion. We talked about college football. We haven't in 3 months, and that should be a great indication that he probably shouldn't be sports person of the year.
Okay, well, all right. First thing, who would you want to be sports person of the year?
I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, who would you be? And then I'm going to defend Deion real quick after that.
For me, it would be a Super Bowl champion who will be going in the Hall of Fame who is dating Taylor Swift, the biggest superstar in the world. It would be Travis Kelce.
You put Travis Kelce.
It'd be hard to top that year. He won the Super Bowl in 2023.
Yeah. I do like that. Yeah, that makes sense. He won the Super Bowl, started dating Taylor Swift.
That's easy.
It would have been perfect because, their AI-generated content could have made it so.
Yeah, it's perfect for the bots.
I will say that Deion made a bigger impact in the sports world by like coming in, showing like, hey, you don't need a lot of money or do this. And I'm coming to the Colorado University and now I'm going to bring up this organization and get more people in. He was definitely hot for a little bit, but I feel like he's been hot. He's like kind of rumbling around. They're also doing a documentary on him. I think there's like going to be some kind of documentary on him. This could have been kind of slipped under the rug, kind of like we paid for this spot, so our documentary gets a little promotion after.
That's scandalous.
You never know. But that's what it seems like to me. It seems like Deion's coming out with something, and now we know why. Or it might be out. I don't know if Amazon's doing it or somebody's doing it. I saw
advertising too. Maybe it's bad advertising. We don't know where it is. It might be Prime. Prime. Wait, it makes sense. His nickname's Prime. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd make a lot of sense. Yeah. Prime and Amazon. Yeah. So that could have been it. But yeah, Travis Kelce definitely makes more sense. But I do like Coach Prime. Like, it's great. It's fun. It's a little thing.
Let's see what happens next year. Is he even back at Colorado? Does he follow his son to the NFL? Does he go coach the Cowboys or the Raiders like I've talked about? Lot to happen in this offseason.
Let's do some BD. I got a good one this week.
Big Dick Energy winner of the week.
All right. The Big Dick Energy this week is, I think, everybody's maybe favorite owner of a sports team.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe favorite TV personality.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban just won the Big Dick Award of maybe the year. I might have to put him on our Big Dick yearly award for the biggest dick of the year.
Maybe he should be sports person of the year.
Yeah. Mark Cuban just sold what I assume is a 51% share in the Mavs for what is it, $3.5 billion. Mark Cuban's bought this team in like 1999 for $238 million and sold it for $3.5 billion, half of it for $3.5 billion, still retains all control of the organization. And I think the last team that sold, was it the Suns that sold for around $4 billion in total? For about $4 billion.
Yeah.
So this is one of the biggest, I think, sales in recent history, but I also think it's one of the greatest ones because what his vision and plan for them to do is that the people that bought the controlling part of the organization, they are a big casino family out in Vegas. They have been, I didn't realize this, but everybody has been putting money into getting all the casinos and sports gambling out in Texas. And I didn't realize this was such a big thing for people to go lobby and try to get gambling out in Texas, because that would be great. Gambling in Texas.
I think that's what the Mavs exactly want. That's what Mark Cuban envisioned here. He has Sheldon Adelson, who is a Vegas mogul, big casino, owns a ton of casinos. You know, Vegas is actually owned by like 7 owners, I think, that control all of Vegas. And this guy's one of them. And he wants to build a casino sports book type of thing, like connected to the Mavs arena in Dallas.
A new arena.
Center.
It would be a whole new arena.
Why not?
Whole new arena. Why not? I just think this is a great idea. And also, you know, you could have a riverboat out in Houston, right? We're on the river somewhere, a little gambling out. Yeah, gambling out there. I think this would be a lot of fun. And I feel like, I don't know what the political parties are in all these states and everything, but like I know here in California, we had 2 things for gambling and both of them didn't go through for some reason, even though everybody we spoke to said yes, but the way they word it on the voting ballot makes you think a yes is a no and a no is a yes, which is also confusing. They shouldn't do that to us.
They're always up to shenanigans. What else? So Mark Cuban made this amazing economic deal, and it makes so much sense. He's still going to run the Mavs. Like, he's still in charge of their basketball operations, which is like, obviously he didn't want to step away. So he just sold a piece and gets to continue. He also stepped away from Shark Tank. So at the same time doing both of these, people began speculating, what is Mark Cuban up to, right? Because he's stepping away from investing in Shark Tank. He's selling a stake in the Mavs. Maybe he anticipates a stock market crash and all of his assets go down. So he wanted to sell and get out of Shark Tank before that. Or maybe, just maybe, we have a presidential election coming up. And just maybe America is not happy with the 2 leading candidates for president. And maybe Mark Cuban wants to get involved in that.
I saw that as the first initial conspiracy about Mark Cuban, but the other one made more sense. It's like, this man is going to go plan and scheme and build the biggest gambling basketball center in Texas, bigger than Dallas Mavericks, bigger, not Dallas Mavericks, bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. This will be the biggest entertainment center.
Nothing's bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. But if sports gambling becomes legal in Texas and Mark Cuban is so involved in the Mavs, I think he's going to have a nice piece with the Cowboys too.
Yeah, it's just going to be. I don't think he's going to run for president. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think you'd want to do that. I think
it makes a lot of sense for him to run, like a smart, well-liked, famous face, kind of down the middle, kind of not as polarizing as both candidates. It actually does make sense to me.
But I don't think it makes sense for him. If you were you're now even a
That's
bigger
the problem,
billionaire.
right? Running for president is not what makes sense for rich, successful people.
Doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's my big dick energy of the week, maybe the year. We're also doing our year-end show sometime later this month, so look out for that. We have a lot of good ones. I was actually looking back. I predicted something 2 years ago that came true this year.
What?
I'm not going to tell you. Wait till the show comes out next month.
This was in
next week, in a few weeks. Yeah, this is a little. Yeah,
Sports-Adamus is one of our favorite shows of the year, so that'll come out in the next few weeks, like you mentioned. I have a quick PDE, Mike. Mine is Mike LaFleur, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. I ranted about Jordan Love recently, and I may have been a little premature, and I need to learn that hot takes are a week-to-week thing, just like the NFL is. Mike LaFleur, as head coach of the Green Bay Packers, did you see this stat? He is 16-0, straight up, not against the spread. 16-0 in December, the month of December.
I did see that last night on TV, just flash on the screen. It's
kind of crazy, right?
It is crazy. But then you think about like playing in like Green Bay, how cold it is. But yeah,
but it's not in Green Bay. It's as Packers coach. It's on the road too.
Oh, that's these are weird stats. A lot of weird. I have some weird stats too. Once we get into gambling, but there's it almost doesn't make sense. So it's like, okay, a few of those years with Aaron Rodgers, and just this year is with Jordan Love. So okay, kind of makes sense, but it stands true now. He's 17-0 in December, right?
Well, listen, He is. Oh, maybe last night became 16. I'm not exactly sure. I rescind my Jordan Love take that the Packers ruined everything. So I take that back from 3 weeks ago. And I give the Packers credit. Maybe they intentionally start slow and ramp up so they peak in December. How often do we see teams peaking, Miami Dolphins, in early parts of the season? Maybe it's smart to peak in December and head into the playoffs. So the Packers might actually be a dangerous little wild card team here. No one's running away with that division. The Lions don't look amazing lately. The Packers are right in it, so props to them.
I do have some future bets. I have the Lions to win the Super Bowl. I have Houston to win the AFC South. And I have Brock Purdy to win the MVP. So one of those need to hit so I can get paid.
The Texans keep looking good.
They look great. I just don't know if they're going to win the AFC South, right? I think Jags are ahead of them right now.
Jags are ahead. They're probably going to win Monday Night Football. They'll be 9-3. Might be tough to catch up.
You want to do some gambling?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? There we go.
If money talks, then I got a lot to say. I'm on the grind trying to make $100,000.
All right. I'm going to start it out with a few stats. So Patriots Steelers, the over under is 30.5 points for how many points are going to be scored in this game.
16-14 is the expectation. That seems a little high, right? Thinking more 12-7 type.
Oh, because what's his name's injured too. Pickett's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, it's Trubisky Zappy. That's what I said earlier. It's unwatchable. Make plans Thursday night, folks, and tell your wives you're happy to go out and eat and skip Thursday night football.
I'll be in Hawaii, so perfect.
Okay.
This will be the lowest closing over-under in NFL since December 2005, and that was a Bears-Steelers game in the snow and win. And it was a 21-9 Pittsburgh win at home. So that's fun.
I'm actually glad the Steelers lost to the Cardinals because I don't want them in the AFC playoffs because it means I have to watch them. And they are the most unwatchable offense in football. And there are a lot of them, as we mentioned. The Steelers and Patriots probably have the two. And I really don't want to see like a Steelers Jags playoff game because that's going to be rough.
So I'm going skiing with mutual friend next weekend. And he texted the thread of, we're going with our other friend. And he's like, big news. Pittsburgh's playing on Saturday. Dead silence. Then he like texts me. He's like, "Did you see the text?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, what do I care that Pittsburgh's playing on a Saturday? Yeah. It's like, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I don't really
try
care.
Not to watch it. Hope to be on the mountain.
And this is for tonight's game. So this might, if you're already listening and it's like Wednesday, this doesn't matter, but maybe it does. Zach Taylor without Joe Burrow is 4-20 straight up, 10-14 against the spread. With him, he's 34-24 and 36-22 against the spread. Shows you that sometimes it's the player, not the coach. So that's Bill Belichick and Tom Brady too, probably.
I saw that. So how many points? So first of all, I think it's obvious to think with Joe Burrow, he's going to win more. Without Joe Burrow, he's going to lose more. So first of all, that is natural. So I saw that earlier. The second thing is how much is Joe Burrow worth on a line? Because this Jags-Bengals line is now up to
right now?
10. I saw we have 8.5 in our contest. It's up to 10 in real life. I thought QBs are worth maybe 5 points or so. If Joe Burrow is playing tonight, Mike, at Jacksonville, Monday Night Football, what is the line of that game?
Joe Burrow, and we have Jamar Chase healthy. We have
Higgins
everybody there.
Mixon's there. Bengals are healthy with Burrow. Just imagine, at Jacksonville, Monday Night Football, they were rolling with Burrow healthy. Just keep that in mind. So tell me what the line might be in that case.
Now, I see what the opening line was. So that means it could have opened a week before Joe Burrow got hurt. So it's saying +1 for the Jags at home. So -1 for the Bengals. Yeah.
So the Bengals were -1 and they flipped to +10. Is Joe Burrow really worth 11 points on a line? Have you ever heard of anyone? Was Dan Marino at his peak worth 11 points on a line?
Are you saying the Bengals have a shot tonight? That's what I feel like you're saying to me because you bet on the Bengals tonight. This is your chance. You're flipping it. We're in our contest, and you're on the verge of either do you win a quarter or do you lose it all? That's where you're at.
I'm really in between. I'm not winning much so far, but there's a quarter left. It's been a tough year for me. I haven't backed up my talk. But seriously, Joe Burrow's not worth 11 points. No one in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, is not worth 11 points. So why did the line flip 11 points? I think the line got too big. I think people keep seeing how bad the Bengals have been with Jake Browning. Jake Browning had an extra practice this week because they're playing on Monday Night Football. I think the Bengals keep it close. Maybe they lose by 7. Maybe it should be a 6 or 7 point line. 8.5 to 10, it got too big.
Now, do you, because I always think about this, it's like we should make bets for this game, but like in this game, do we think that it's a high scoring game or the Bengals defense that good? Is this why? I don't know what the total is for the game, but I don't know. It seems because when you have that rookie quarterback in, it is hard to even think like you're going to go out there and perform that well. Now, we've seen it with Vegas. They're doing pretty well. We've seen it with, who else have we seen? Maybe, I don't know who else. Who else is a rookie that came in?
DeVito's won a couple
DeVito, yeah. He came in. It took him a few games to get going, and he got that.
CJ Stroud as a rookie, he's peaking more in October, November than he did in September. So you're right. The reps matter. Jake Browning started 4 years at the University of Washington, played a ton of games, a ton of experience, and now he's entering, I think it's his third start with the Bengals this year with an extra practice. I think the Bengals offense looks much better. Are they going to get into a shootout and beat the Jags? Hell no. If the Jags score more than 30 points, they're going to win this game. I do think the Bengals defense is pretty good. We're all talking in the past. I know the game already happened. I know it's a 7-point Jags win. I know they didn't cover. I know the Bengals looked okay at times. I'm just saying the Bengals are not out of the playoff mix, I guess.
I got to bet on the game so I can watch it tonight because I have no interest in watching it at all.
Watch this one because Thursday is super unwatchable.
I know. I have a few more stats. Will Levis, I don't know if you saw this. He's made 6 NFL starts. In these, he's 0-6 straight up and 0-6 in second half spreads, and he's the second worst of any QB this season. So we saw the flashes of how good he was. Do they bring Tannehill back? I don't think they do. I think they're just like sticking with him. I saw him get all pissed off at DeAndre Hopkins Did you see him get?
I saw that too. I saw that, and then he started throwing touchdowns to Hopkins, and I think that calmed everything down.
But I do like. I have DeAndre Hopkins in fantasy, so I'm like, this is a good because no one was throwing to him before. Yeah, this is a lot better. By the way, I think I'm going to win both of my fantasy leagues this year, so I'm 100% retired.
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to win the regular season of both your fantasy leagues, and you're going to enter the playoffs where anything can happen. And you might face J-Dog in one of those leagues because J-Dog's got a pretty good team.
J-Dog, right now, me and you only meet in the finals.
Exactly. And I'm glad.
We're splitting. We're 100%. If we get to the finals, we are splitting the money evenly. First and second, we'll split it and walk away.
My friend,
I don't care if you get the crown.
I have news for you. I don't split.
Oh my God.
I don't split. I play to win, unlike you, apparently.
Okay. You can get the trophy and I'll just split the money with you. All right. I don't care. Also, this is a fun stat. Jets are 0-6 against the spread on extended prep, 8 days or more under Robert Saleh.
They get worse.
They get worse. All right, real quick. There's not going to be a gambling show this week, so I just have initial leans. It's Monday, an hour before Monday Night Football. These are initial leans that I like, that I will determine later in the week that they're probably bad and probably flip sides. Right now, I like Tampa on the road in Atlanta. Atlanta's favored by -2.5 right now. The line doesn't make sense to me. A little scary.
Tampa barely beat Carolina though, right?
Yeah, but they did beat them, and I feel like they didn't cover. I was on Carolina, but I just don't think this is a
new coach bump. We saw it with the Raiders too. The new coach is bringing energy. When teams switch in season, that's got to be a stat. I think they're 2-0 already of teams that fire their coach mid-season cover next week.
Yes, always take the new coach. I also like Jacksonville. I know we haven't seen the game tonight. Jacksonville on the road in Cleveland. If Flacco plays again, we can't see lightning strike twice. There's no way Flacco is actually going to perform the way he did.
I don't know. Right? Get him back in the Midwest where he played all those games with the Ravens. Maybe he's got a little juice there.
This is for, I'm imagining, the NFC South title, but Carolina in New Orleans. New Orleans is favored by -5.5. I'm going with Carolina again. I thought they were feisty. They were slinging the ball. They make a lot of mistakes. But I just don't think New Orleans is good. And Derek Carr is
concussed. He's probably out, which means Winston is in, which means I will be betting the Saints because that man is not afraid to throw the ball up.
He does throw the ball. I also like the Raiders at home +3 against Minnesota. I don't believe in Josh Dobbs. You know that. I'm going to fade Dobbs
him a lot. It finally paid off for you against the Bears last Monday.
I'm going to keep fading him. I don't think he's that good. In this defense, this is a real defense. This is like Chicago Bear defense. They'll just run at you, and Dobbs can't run that much. So I kind of like the Raiders here. And San Francisco against Seattle. San Fran's -10.5. I'm not scared of it. I think they're a great team, and I don't think Seattle is ready for this. And Seattle needs these games, but I just don't think they have it in them, unfortunately.
I think Geno and the Seahawks are a weird team week to week. They look really bad and really good. Might tell me to stay away from betting the Seahawks games.
Yeah, well, that would be a good bet, but that's all I got. And then if you want, we can talk about our contest. We haven't really mentioned where we are in the standings. We're about 13 weeks through. We're going into week 14. J-Dog, you are sitting at 31-33, but you have one game tonight, right? So you could be 32.
That's right. Really not bad. You told me be 500. If I win tonight's bet, I'm one game off of 500.
Sure.
What else can I do?
I know. And it's
that's
wild.
Last place. Somehow that's last place.
And I'm sitting at 38-27, but that's the thing. It's weird. It's like those one games. And what our mutual friend started doing, after we talk all week, he's like, oh, I'm going to switch these two games out. And he started doing that. And then you started seeing him drop. It's those one or two games that make a big difference. And that's the hard part about it.
Sure.
And our mutual friend is also sitting at 32-33. So he's
right there with me.
Close.
What is the record of the guy in first place? Because that's a friend of mine from Florida, and he is running away with it.
He is 46-18.
Stop there. Stop. 46-18 against the spread. If he's in the super contest, that's got to be first place, right?
I don't know. I actually have. Let me see if I can pull.
I just assume that 46-18, that winning at that clip, that's almost 70. That's over 75%, almost 75%.
I could probably pull it up. I don't know what that would be. I'm gonna have to look it up. What the super contest is at right now. But yeah, last week there was a few guys
He's winning
fighting.
75% of his picks. That is incredible. That is unheard of. He has a system. We're gonna crack this code before the end of the race.
How about this? Will you talk to this man and just kind of see like how he's doing it or what he's doing? Because I'm confused on how he's doing it. So yeah, he would definitely be
proprietary info.
He would definitely be in the top 3 right now in the super contest. So that's
I think he wishes he entered that instead of ours.
Yeah. You're not getting $1 million from us. You're only getting 1,000.
Almost 1,000.
And then there's a few guys underneath him. Sneaky Pete's at 43 and 21. Gambling Goose is at 42 and 23. And then we have Ingle. He's sitting there at 41 and 24. I have no idea how he does it.
Shout out Dingleberry. That guy is deep in the accounting world all day. He's got the kid at home. He's got the wife. He's got the house. He's just doing it all, and he's making picks. Really impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how he
Maybe it's the good luck we gave him when we saw him in Cabo before football season.
I rescind my good luck. I don't want him to do this. I can't believe he's doing this. My goal is to get above our friend Greg, our lawyer friend, and Ingle, and just be sitting there like tied for third with Gambling.
Yeah. Every time the lawyer friend does well in something like this, I always think, what if the law firm knew how good he is at gambling and fantasy, because it means he's not getting that case through the courts.
It's true. All right, check out the sportshangover.com. Follow us on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/sportshangover. Subscribe, listen, download, like us on TikTok as well. We're also there at the Sports Hangover on Instagram, but we're loving the comments on YouTube. So go to YouTube, please comment on the videos. I know a lot of people just love the hot takes. And Sam's video still trending, still the hottest man on the internet for some reason.
Really?
So yeah.
How's that work?
I don't know how that works. We got the wrong audience.
Probably doing OnlyFans. Might make more money there.
That's true. All right.